gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest show on earth, the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I am your host, Xavier, sitting here with the wonderful D. D, what's good?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling this gonna be this gonna be one of them ones. So I'm feeling amazing. So before we start this episode, I would like to advise everyone to please subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and leave a review. All those things we greatly appreciate it. And before we start this, no matter of fact, I'm tripping. We gonna get right into it. Cut the small text. So this episode, you was when was you back on?
January 2020.
2020. Wow, I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, it was just last year.
And she's probably
2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago, and she's probably our most requested person to come back. Like every month, every week, I'm getting. Y'all need to have Beez back on. When Beez coming back on? So it's here. We back. We got her back on. And like I said her name already. For y'all who don't know her, her name is Beez. We super excited to have her on the show. So welcome back to the show, Beez.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back on. I'm excited to be back. A lot of stuff has changed over the past almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Is that new?
Yeah, showing them about.
That's what you on blast. Beez came to the studio. She ain't playing today.
Deanna, what you talking about? Is that new? You peeped the watch, huh?
I peeped that.
What kind of watch that is?
It's a 2020 Rolex Hawk.
2020.
Brand new, yeah.
Brand new. Y'all heard that?
Discontinued Rolex.
It's shining. It's really over here shining.
Yeah, we gotta talk because we was talking about that on the way here. She was telling me how she got it with Kurt though, but I'm like, we gotta make sure we talk.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But we gonna break it down. So for the people, do you mind for the people who may not be familiar with you know who you are, do you mind just giving some background on yourself?
Yeah. So I was on here last year. For people who don't know me, I used to be a software engineer. And I was doing the software engineering for a couple years, and from that, I ended up going overseas to do overseas government contracting work, and I'm in the tech industry, and from there, I've just been working on radars ever since. And when you're working overseas as a government contractor, one, you get paid a lot of money, and then two, it's tax-free, and then three, you actually live for free, right? So you don't actually have to pay for any of your living expenses. I'm able to, make the 6-figure salary, live in a nice apartment for free, and then transportation, food, all that's free as well. Mm-hmm. So it allowed me to basically invest 90% of my income, right? So when I first got overseas, I was making $135, $140. I did that for 18 months, living in Japan. And then after that, I got a job in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, that's when I really made a huge jump with my salary. I was making $225,000 a year. And that type of income, you could pretty much invest all of it, right? Mm-hmm. So being able to invest almost $200K a year, you can do a lot with that, right? And then not have any expenses. So that's what got me to where I am today. And, if you haven't seen the first episode, I definitely suggest people to watch it. I don't want to tell my whole story all over again, but basically I'm in tech. I used to play ball. Ball wasn't going to work out. It wasn't going to make as much money as tech, so I just decided to go this route instead.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because it's I think a lot of people struggle with that level of self-awareness. We all have our passions, something Xavier talks about a lot, and our dreams that we want to chase and go all in on. But in the reality is not everything is going to pan out the way you want it to. And sometimes you got to go the more logical route to get to where you're trying to go. And so what was the mentality for you behind that?
Yeah, honestly, I was playing on a team. So I was playing at a school that was pretty much the best D3 school. I had a small scholarship, and I was good at basketball, but I was just I feel like if I make it to the WNBA, what do WNBA players make, right? So I literally went to Google. I had never done it before. Went to Google, right? Looked up, what's the average salary of a WNBA player, and it was like $45K, and I was like, that's not a lot of money, I'm like, that's not a lot of money, right? So I'm like, dang, all right, well, what's the average salary of a software engineer? And it was almost $100K. So I'm like, damn, a software engineer makes almost double what a WNBA player makes. I quit the team the next day, and I never. So yeah, like I literally, I quit the team the next day because I couldn't do schoolwork and actually focus on my on the basketball career, right? So playing on a team. The way that they run the basketball system at the school I went to Christopher Newport, they run it like a D1 program. So that means like we were doing individual practice in the morning. We were doing team practice like middle of the day. We was doing study hall. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, I don't really like school like that. So if I gotta choose, like, I gotta pick and choose what I focus on. Mm-hmm. So my grades weren't that good. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to do both. So, at one point you have to decide, like, what are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. Like, to me, I'm not one of those people where it's like, choose your passion over money. I'm the type of person that believes that you choose money over passion, and that will allow you to do whatever you're passionate about after the fact, right? So that's pretty much how I went about it, and that's how I got here. To me, it worked out. I haven't said it yet, but I retired at age 29. I don't even work anymore. So I literally just retired. I have so much passive income coming in from my investments. It's crazy. So from crypto, private equity investments. I also invest into the Amazon and Walmart stores from Dawson. He was on your show. Yeah, shout out to Dawson, right? Like, I got so much passive income coming in. I'm making over $200K a year just from investments. So, if you focus on that, you can make a lot of money.
No,
so proud of you.
No, I love this. I love this so much because if you listen to the show, I'm always on here, and I'm like, man, F your passion. I'm like, get the bag. And I always get so much flack from people. They're like, why would you tell people to do that? Why, blah, blah, blah. And you like a prime example of that. Like you said, you're 29, you retired. So you can now, you at the point, you can do your passion whenever you want. If you want to play ball all day, you can do that. And you're only 29 years old. So it's like, this is the reason why I say, obviously, if you have a lucrative passion, like, and your passion making you money, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about most people, passion is not lucrative. So that's why I say just get the bag, because you could still get to a point where you're relatively young and live that life where you doing whatever you want to do. And I feel like so many people, they just, for whatever reason, they can't get that through their head. It's like, no, I want to keep...
I'm gonna play devil's advocate because people on the other side of that would be like, well, you trying to make it seem like money is everything. Money is the end all be all. It's more important things than it.
No, but that's not. See, I like that you playing devil's advocate. I like that. We can go back and forth about this, but it's not about making money. It's just the reality of it's hard to live
if you don't
a
have
peaceful
money.
Lifestyle without money. It's hard. So it's bigger than. It's not even about the money. It's about the options and the time freedom and peace for real. And without that, it's hard. Like most of us, we all been broke before. The most stressful times usually is when you ain't got nothing. You worried about how I'm gonna pay these bills. Mm-hmm. So if you could take that away, you could live a much more peaceful life. At least from my point of view, that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Yeah. So you know that that was happening. But Beez, let's talk about this. So like you said, you just retired. So how did you get to that point? And first, how many years did it take you to get there?
How many years did it take me to get here?
How long did it,
I really didn't get serious about it until 2017, right? So 2017, I got really serious to where I was like, all right, I want to retire early. I didn't know how early it was going to be, but I was like, I want to retire early, right? So from 2017 to 2021, right? So took me about 4 years to get here. And I had mistakes, throughout that time period. And I would say to people who are trying to retire early, don't try and reinvent the wheel. That's something that everybody does. You start making money and you try to figure out new ways to make money, right? But if you look at the wealthy people, you'll see that most wealthy people, they end up making money through either real estate, the stock market, or other traditional investment opportunities, right? Most people aren't really creating brand new businesses and making it, you don't need to create something new. You just need to increase your capital and invest it. That's it. Like, and consistently invest it, right? So and I know a lot of people, they probably going to see this and they're like, oh, well, you're a software engineer, you're making this type of money. That's the only reason why. Like, it doesn't really matter what you do. You just need to increase your income, right? Like, that's what I teach. I teach people that as long as you increase your income, get up to where you're making six figures, right? And you invest and you keep your monthly spend low, you will be able to make passive income every month to where you get to the point where your income actually covers all your living expenses, right? And once you get there, you can crank it up a notch and then take it even further. You can start making more money. So that's really what you gotta focus on.
And I've read articles on the cause they got the community that retire early, the fire community.
The fire community.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of time when you read about them, they'll talk about how they pretty much just like penny pinching. They couponing. They living in like the cheapest apartments. They not
they
like
don't even eat at Starbucks or any nice restaurants. None of that.
They're not spending $1. So it's like with you, it don't seem like that was your path. It seemed like you was still living a life. You was doing fly stuff, doing nice things. So just talk about how you was able to balance being able to invest and take care of business to retire early, but also still and live and enjoy life.
Yeah. So I believe in this principle called fat fire, right? There's fire, which is just a regular fire where, it's a lot of penny pinching and you're just pretty much investing your money into your stock portfolio to where you can withdraw from it. But fat fire is where you're actually getting passive income every month and you have those investments as well, right? So when you got that passive income coming in every month and you have the other assets, you're able to just, do whatever you want. You don't have to penny pinch. You don't have to worry about it too much as long as you keep that healthy balance to where, you're not spending more than what you're making a month and you're still investing. So, that's pretty much what you have to do.
Okay.
So for somebody who's looking to find like some passive streams of income that's going to be good for them to like jump into, I don't want to say easily, but to get things moving, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so the ones that I like, I studied a lot of different passive income streams. Like one that I feel like is slept on because it seems so simple is honestly vending machines, right? Like if you got, I would say a lot of people don't have more than $2,500 a month of expenses. I would say that's like a lot of people don't have that much, right? So you could literally have probably a max of 5 vending machines and cover all of those expenses. And that's if you have vending machines that make, I would say at least $500 a month. Right. But you can get vending machines that make $1,000 a month, right? Y'all have had Brother Graham on here talk about vending machines. He gets machines all the time that make $1,000 a month. So if you get like 3 machines, you can have all your living expenses paid for. I'm big on Twitter, and I asked people before, how much would an additional $2,000 a month help you? And almost everybody said it would be life-changing. You can easily do that with vending machines, and they're not that expensive. So to me, that's one method that you can use to start making passive income. Another one that I like is it's more risky, but I do like Turo for sure. Right. I think Turo is a high cash on cash return. You can definitely make a lot of income coming in that way. I'm big on crypto too. If you're able to do some yield farming, if you can yield farm and you can make some good income on some good projects, not like some projects that's going to scam you. If you can do that, I would say that those are all good ways for you to make passive income for sure. And then obviously real estate, but even though people think real estate is a high barrier of entry, pretty much everybody can come into real estate and they can house hack, right? You can get you a FHA loan, put down 3.5%, and you can get you a house and you can buy up to 4 units and immediately start making money that way. So I believe that everybody should house hack straight off the jump. Don't forget about your dream house. Just house hack immediately. Get your multifamily, use that FHA loan, and just house hack it.
So Beez, what you're saying is no benefits in buying your family house first.
Yeah, forget about your dream house, right? Like, because I got caught up in that too. You think that your dream house is going to be something that you're in forever. But if you're young, You're not staying in the dream house forever. I think a couple of years ago, they said that the average amount of time people live in a house is like 13 years. I would say it's probably less than that now. Like it's probably under 7, you know? So if you're not going to be there that long, you in here spending so much money, like maxing out your budget on a house that you're not going to be in the long term. When you house hack, you only got to be in there for 12 months. So why would you go and cap out your earning potential or your expenses, what you have to spend on expenses on a house that you're only going to be in for not even 10 years, right? And it's not going to bring you in any money. So the way to get wealthy is by taking your money and putting it to work and having it make you more money. So if you're just putting all your money into a house, a lot of people end up house poor by just maxing out their budget. Like, why don't you just go and get you a multifamily and start bringing in income every single month? And then if you need to, you know, after that, go get your dream house.
I play devil's advocate again.
Wait.
You want to play devil's advocate again?
Wait 1 second. We got to go. We're going to take a break real quick. Go to our next monster, and you can play devil's advocate. This episode is also sponsored by My Official Crypto Guide. That's right, guys. If you guys are looking to get into crypto, you can go to www.guide2crypto.com. And in this guide, I'll go over all things you need to get started with making money in crypto. I named 13 solid coins, solid projects that you guys can invest in long term and will make money with. I named platforms you can use. I talk over the issue of paying taxes and so many other things. So if you want to get this guide, go to www.guide2crypto.com to get started and making money in crypto today.
So I know something I see a lot on Twitter when it comes to the topic of renting versus owning. And a lot of people who are on the owning side, as far as buying your own house rather than renting, say that oftentimes you can find a mortgage that's cheaper than market rent and you can save that way. So even with that mentality, would you still be pro house hacking or renting to save money? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say still house hack, right? Because when you house hack, you're going to live in one unit, and that one unit that you live in, and then the other people paying the mortgage, they're going to cover most of the mortgage, right? So if you're house hacking and you have, even if it's only 2 units, they're going to cover more than what it would be if you actually had to rent out someplace, right? So I would still say house hack for sure, because at the end of the day, even if you got a duplex, you'll live in one side, rent out the other. You only have to live in it for 12 months. So then you'll have 2 units bringing in money every single month.
I want to go back to crypto for a second. And first, I want to talk about the Rolex. You buying the crypto. We buying a Rolex with crypto. First, let's talk about that. Then I'm going to go into my next question. So how did you do that?
Yeah, so honestly, the main way that I did it, so I invested into a couple of things, right? So I would say 2 of my best investments this year, I invested in Solana. I invested in it at around $4, and right now it's around $2.20, right? So, and that was in February. And then I also got into NFTs. So I bought a couple of Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. I bought 2. The first one, I actually like paper handed it. I got scared and I sold it early. But one of them, I actually held on to it pretty long. And I sold it recently for $170,000, right? So I've been in crypto since 2017.
How much you bought it for?
I bought it for $20K. Yeah.
20K.
I bought it for $20K. It was 10 Ethereum at the time. I sold it for 40. And even with that, like, I was just like, I was nervous. I knew I was about to retire. So I was like, let me just sell this, get rid of it. But I mean, still, I turned 20K into 170 within like 4 months. So,
Unheard of.
Yeah. It's like unheard of, right? So, by having that money, I took that and I put some into watches. And some people might think I'm crazy, but the thing is this: I've been through bear markets in crypto. Right. You know, I've been through the 70% drawdown. So like 70% drawdown. Let's say your account was worth 100K today. Like once the bear market hits, it might be worth 30K, 20K, right? But if you invest into actual watches that hold their value or appreciate, you can buy now where my portfolio is worth a lot. You know, I can sell off some, reinvest it into watches, and then when the market crashes, I can actually, rebuy those cryptos that I believe in at a much lower price. So, that's my strategy. People don't think it works or people think it's stupid, but I've been there before. Last time I was looking at Rolexes and stuff, and after my portfolio crashed 70%, I'm like, dang, well, if I had the Rolexes, at least it'd still be worth. At least it'd still be worth like what I paid for it. Like the crypto is down like 70%. So That's what I did.
I was gonna say, can you show them to watch one more time?
Which one?
This is beautiful.
It's beautiful. That joint hard.
Yeah. It's a discontinued one too. So that's the thing. So you gotta buy right. You gotta buy right. You can't go out like buy a bust down or anything like that. You want to buy something that's gonna hold its value or appreciate over time. So don't buy any bust downs. I would say don't buy anything that's like, something that people don't want. You want to buy something in demand.
That's brilliant because you basically secured your profits.
Yeah.
You took them. Which is one way to secure it, but then you took it and you put them into different, more assets that like you said, when you got classic timepieces like that, they're going to hold their value, especially when you have these shortages that's going on. So you see, that's a win. Because like you said, people don't understand. Yeah. When crypto drop, man, it's like a roller coaster. It's going to drop fast and deep. What's up?
So let me ask y'all that. Do y'all see a crypto market crash coming soon?
Yeah. It's gonna be I'll say a bear market. It's gonna be back in the bear market.
It's a bear market.
Yeah.
How soon would y'all say, or what's y'all predictions?
I'm saying 2022.
Yeah, I think by April, May at the latest. It's really hard to gauge it because a lot of the coins are up a lot. Like Solana went from $1 this year to it capped out at like $2.50. That's a 250x.
Right.
Like, how much more is it going to go up? Like, I don't know, but I'm going to take my profits, and once it drops, it drops. So right now, I'm just yield farming and just keeping my money into coins that I think that have high earning potential.
Yield farming. Break that down. That down.
Yeah. So yield farming is basically it's decentralized finance, and you're basically able to take two cryptocurrencies, equal value of two cryptos. So like, let's say you had I'm pretty sure everybody knows Ethereum, right? So let's say you had $100 worth of Ethereum. You could take $100 worth of Ethereum and $100 worth of like USDC, which is a stable coin.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that and you could provide liquidity for a decentralized exchange.
It's crazy.
It's going to be out there for a lot of people, right? So you can put it into a decentralized exchange, and it will allow people to be able to buy and sell like Ethereum. If they had Ethereum, they could sell it for USDC. If they had USDC, they could swap it for Ethereum. So you are able to actually earn the fees from the providing liquidity, right? So when you do that, the fees that you earn, depending on the platform, it could be up to 1,000% APR. Which is crazy, right? 1,000% APR, I don't know. It might be like 10,000% APY, honestly. So, but you earn a lot of money, right? Like I know some of my yield farms, at some point I was earning close to like $3,000 a week just yield farming off of 20K. So, I was making good money, right? So that's pretty much my focus, like yield farming on coins that I believe in long term, and yield farming where I just think the value is just gonna stay there, and I don't think it's gonna like scam me. So that's what I'm doing.
But I was gonna because this is a super important topic, because like you spoke on how you will never have to sell your assets. And I know a lot of people when they see that video, and I advise everybody to follow on Instagram, Twitter, so y'all could consume her content, because she giving out some real shit. But I think a lot of people, that went over a lot of people's head when you like, hold on, what you mean? When they hear that, it's like a mind-blowing way of strategy, knowing that you could loan out your assets and make money on it. So do you mind just talking about that more as well?
Yeah, for sure. So when I say I'm never going to sell my assets, right? Wealthy people, what they do is they take loans against their assets. So like, let's say you had stocks or real estate. Now with crypto, you can borrow against it, right? So if you had $1,000 worth of crypto, you could borrow $800 worth, and you can go take that money, invest it in something else, or you can go take that money, and if you wanted to, you could live off of it if you think that crypto is going to continue to go up. And that's what wealthy people do. They don't go out here and just sell off their stocks, right? A lot of people are like, well, why would you invest long term? Because as long as it's going up forever and you can borrow against it, you always have money you can live off of.
This is my fault. So I'm just listening. I'm like trying to piece it all together.
It's a game changer, specifically with crypto. That's a game changer. But still, a lot of people aren't aware of that strategy yet.
Yeah. And then the thing with crypto, too, is a lot of people don't know this. There are different places you can borrow from against your crypto, and the loans actually pay themselves off. Because, like, crypto, the way that the interest rates are, like, from the amount that the interest that you get for depositing, minus the amount that you have to pay for borrowing, you still come out ahead.
Okay, you still
so your
ahead.
loans pay themselves off. So you don't even got to pay the loans back.
All right, so let me ask you this. It's called yield farming, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a minimum amount of money that you need to get into it? And how skilled or savvy in crypto do you need to be to do it?
Yeah, so when you get into yield farming, you don't need any minimum amount. Like you could literally have $10 split at $5 and $5, right? There's really no minimum amount at all. So it's just based off of, however much money you want to earn back. But, if you're getting good returns, it doesn't matter whether it's $10, $100, whatever. It's all about the percentage. And you don't need to be skilled at all. You just have to really just learn how to put the money into liquidity pools and just understand the mechanism and how it works, right? So, but once you put the money in, you're earning interest and you can claim that money at any time.
Okay.
So you can literally deposit it into your bank account. Like you'll transfer it to like, let's say Coinbase or Binance or Cash App, and you can put it in your bank account.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Who's thinking of this stuff?
Yeah. I mean, it's the new wave of finance, right? They don't want people to know about it. So Coinbase actually tried to come out with a lending platform, and the SEC blocked them. Like they don't want people to know about this type of stuff.
So I was going to ask. So if you mind sharing, give us your let's say your top 3 cryptocurrencies.
Top 3. I would say top 3. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin is one that everybody's going to say, but I would say Solana, Ethereum, and for the third one, it's kind of like a toss-up. It's a bunch that I like.
I'll be the same way.
Yeah, it's a bunch. I'll just say something that I think is going to last long term. I think Luna is going to last long term. Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, with there being so many coins, like, and same for you, Zay, but how do you know it's a good coin? Like, how do you know this one has potential and it's not just another shit coin?
You gotta do your research.
Yeah, you got to do your research, right? You got to do your research, and in my course, that's like the main thing, right? So I have courses to teach people how to invest in the stocks, how to invest in the crypto, precious metals, all types of different asset classes. But yeah, it's all about doing your research. Like once you learn kind of like what you need to look for. Things that I like to look for is one, making sure they have like either a good team, even with like stocks, right? You want to make sure it's a good team with that company. Making sure they have a good team, good use case, right? And then make sure that it's actually being used by people, right? So usually if it hits those marks and you think it'll be useful in the future, I mean, you usually win.
It's really, because people ask that a lot, and if you a stock investor, like the strategy, the way you see stocks and how to buy you a good stock, it's basically the same with crypto for real.
Yeah. That's why you shouldn't really try to like rely on other people's moves, right? You should try to learn how to do research. That's why I try to teach people to fish. I don't really like to really just tell people exactly what to buy, right? I teach you how to do your own research. I show you what I'm looking at, but you also need to look and find your own coins too. Your own coins, your own stocks, like figure it out yourself as well. Cause I'm not gonna be here forever. So you gotta know how to do your own research.
Wait, talk about your course more. What, like with the name of it, like everything in detail and all that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my course, Investing for Everyone, like I said before, I teach people how to invest in the crypto, how to invest in the stocks, everything that I know about it, right? So I've been investing in the stocks and cryptos for a long time, and I would say when it comes to our community, we are really taught the wrong things. Like people tell us, oh, investing in the stocks is risky. Now they're telling us, oh, investing in the crypto is risky. But if you do your research, right, you don't have to go all in on stocks or crypto. But there's ways to invest into all of these asset classes and really make good money, right? You don't really have to be out here doing anything too risky. You don't have to put your money into like meme coins, AMC, Dogecoin. You can make great money off that, right? But I can promise you, I would say like, 10 years from now, that's not the coin that you would want to bet any type of money on. Like, is Dogecoin going to be around? Is Shiba going to be around in 10 years? I don't know.
You don't know.
But I know for a fact Bitcoin will be around. Ethereum going to be around. Solana's going to be around. I don't know about Doge. I don't know about those, right? So I'm an investor. I'm not a gambler. I think that our community, we really get caught up on trying to hit the lotto. You hear one person ends up like hitting it real big on something like AMC or hitting it real big on something like Dogecoin. And now every single crypto, you trying to hit the lotto, you trying to go all in and just, hopefully, I hope I turn 100 into $1 million. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
It don't.
You know what type of return that is? Turning $100 into $1 million. You're going to lose a lot of money, right? And $100, that's a low example. Like, it'll be people out here that are literally taking 1,000. I saw somebody on Twitter say, oh, I should have put my down payment into Shiba on a house. Like, I should have put my down payment on my house into this. Like, that's gambling. Be homeless, goddamn. Yeah, like that's not investing. You don't want to do that. This is not the lottery. You want to be an investor.
But I think that's even though as much as I love crypto, that's the one danger, because I know people, it's like drinking. You know how commercials, they say you drink responsibly. Like, it's okay to drink, but drink responsibly. When it comes to investing, specifically crypto, like, it's great to invest, but people need to invest responsibly, especially when it comes to crypto, because, like, as we was talking about, when it dropped, that shit would go, like, so if you're really not investing, you gambling, trying to hit home runs, when you lose, like, you lose big. You lose, you be hurt, like, you gonna be at home crying. So, and like, how I see it, and we had this conversation probably multiple times, like, as much as they say, like, it's investing, it's a risk, there are several coins, at least in my opinion, that I think are pretty much guarantees for real. Unless something crazy, something wild happens in the world where it's like super wild. There's some coins that's like, they not going nowhere. These like pretty much safe bets if you invest consistently and just, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. That's how I see it. What you think?
Yeah, no, I agree too. I think that, these coins are pretty much safe bets. If you do your research and you understand what you're looking at, I think they're safe bets. But like I said before, people don't do their research. They just see like, oh man, somebody turned this much money into this, I'm gonna put my money into that too, right?
Facts.
So, like I said, education is everything, right? You gotta value your education. You gotta learn and understand, what you're investing in. It doesn't matter what the investment class is. You gotta understand it.
No, you talking shit. Cause there's some, like I said, you retiring at 29. That's not an easy feat. That's something that, most of our, like, when it comes to our community, we don't think about it till 55, 65. I know people, when I was in the military, I was working with a dude that was 85, like something like that. So retirement is definitely something that should, as long as you're working, it should be in everybody's mind. Like, when can I walk away from this? And to be able to do it before 30 is like, I think you might be the first person that I personally know that retired before 30 for real. Yeah. Yeah, that's not, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait, that's not like. Go ahead.
To be specific, though, it's retired from the corporate world. Yeah. You're not completely done working.
Yeah, I'm not completely done working. Right. I could be like, I don't want to do nothing anymore. I could easily do that. But, I enjoy helping other people. I enjoy investing. Like, if anything, I could be an investor full time, right? Like, I could just keep taking the money I'm making and just keep investing it and just keep growing into more and more money.
And I love this, something we was talking about on the way here, is that, like, we all started building on our, like, online presence around the same time, and there was a lot of us that grew our brands, and you seeing the results of the things that we built over the years. Well, I say, a lot of people, when we started, it was like motherfuckers was making jokes. Let's be real. LLC Twitter and making, but it's like a lot of us, when it came to this business and investing, we was dead serious. Now you able to see. Deanna, why you laughing? Now you able to see. Come on, why
you the king of LLC?
Chill out. Don't put that on me. They'll be on there saying that shit for real. Stop playing.
I'm just playing, y'all.
They'll be on there saying that shit for real. But no, I'm saying a lot of people, they took that social media shit as a game, and I think those that seen the true value in it, giving game, giving real advice, now it's like we having those. I'm not gonna get into numbers now, but we having these crazy months when it comes to income and all that kind of stuff, and it's like this shit ain't this shit with no game. You prime example.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing that's crazy, that's what I'm saying. Like, people think it's one off. Like, my best friend, we both went to the same school. We both went to VCU. He did computer science. We both did computer science together. He went overseas too, right? And he went with the federal government, and I went as a government contractor. He retired last year. He retired at 27. Yeah. He focused completely on real estate. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. I probably would have retired a year earlier if I didn't get into trucking. So I lost like $60K investing in the trucking. If I would have just focused on crypto, like, it was at the point where I had like 50,000, and I was like, I can put it into Bitcoin, or I could put it into trucking. Trucking was huge on social media. Obviously, I should have put it into Bitcoin. Like, if I put 50K into Bitcoin last year, it'd be worth, I don't know, over $1 million now, probably.
Yeah, no, for real. But at the same time, in your defense,
it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
You know, you're right.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
But in your defense, though, I could see why you would choose it because we know crypto is not on, especially then you talk about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't like cash flow. It was like the market go up, down.
Yeah.
Trucking, that would have been like a pretty much guaranteed cash flow every month. So I could.
I was trying to get the cash flow. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So like, I feel like if you're focusing on cash flow, focus on stuff that is like proven, stuff that people have been doing for a while. Like, and it doesn't have to be over the top. Like I said, like vending machines, those have been around forever. Everybody uses vending machines, right? You know, investing in the real estate, been around forever. Everybody got to rent housing if you don't own it, right? So like these things that have been around forever, you don't need to reinvent the wheel at all.
Yeah, that's we was talking about that because reinvent the wheel. I've experienced it before. That's like one of the quickest ways to lose money for real because everybody think you got to be super creative or let me do this now. Where it's really like, yo, the formula is already out here. Put your money in these places, sit back and chill. But so like, you know, we want that quick, that we want it fast. And especially that's the one thing of crypto where it's like, it could kind of mess you up and screw your head up because you could get 200% in a week and you feel like, oh, this is normal. If I'm not getting this anywhere else, I'm cool. So I'm like, let me go for home runs all the time. Where it's like, yo, fast. What they say? I can't even remember the saying. Something steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race.
Steady.
Slow and steady. I was gonna say fast and steady. I'm tripping. Slow and steady wins the race, and that's a true statement. Like you might not be able to be retired by 30 like Beez, but you might be able to do it by 35, which is still young as hell. To be able to retire at 35 for real. So no, I like your whole story. That's why I was super happy to bring you back on because like I said, if y'all follow Beez, she give out game all the time when you talk about investing, business, all kinds of shit. Like if you gonna get some value when you follow her. And the dope thing about it is she did it from like a 9 to 5. It wasn't like no handouts or something crazy. She did like it's the dopest story to me because it's achievable for damn near anybody. Yeah. Anybody could become a government contractor. Anybody could start investing. So your story alone is like anybody can is the blueprint that anybody can do this shit. You don't need to be no rocket scientist or none of that. Like how you even like let's say if somebody listening to this, they want to get plugged in to become a government contractor, but you know most people they don't know like because that's like if you ain't got no military background, family in the military, you don't even know what even gonna look for this kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. So I mean the top government contractor companies, I would say Northrop Grumman's one of the top ones. You got Booz Allen, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. You know, those are companies that you can all apply to, right? But honestly, you don't have to focus on government contract. It's about getting into a field that pays a high salary, right? So some of the fields that I like insurance adjusting, which y'all had Steven's story on here. He's big into insurance adjusting. I know so many people got into insurance adjusting. They're making 6 figures within 6 months, right? Focusing on tech. If you can get those tech skills, you can start making 6 figures. Obviously, doctors make 6 figures. Engineers make 6 figures. People who focus on sales, they make 6 figures usually. So you just want to get into a career that makes 6 figures, right? And you don't want to go to college and get into too much debt, right? So the main key there is too much debt. Like if you can go to school, go to an in-state school, or you can do some CLEP exams that they pretty much count for credits. You can do those, keep your costs down. Or if you want to go in the military, you could do the same thing, right? I know people who went to the military, did their 6 years, and then they became government contractors, like triple their income. You can do the same thing. It's mainly about making sure that you have, 1, a high income from a career, 2, investing your money to earn passive income, and then obviously like saving your money as well. So as long as you get that high income, save and invest it to get passive income, you know, you really can't lose.
What if you in a career field where it's not 6 figures? Let's say it's like 50, 60, 70,000. Like what would your strategy be then to start on that journey so you could get fast paced and retire eventually?
Yeah. I would say, like, let's say if you're making like 50, 60, I would say see if you can take those same skills and then apply it to a industry that will pay you higher, right? So like there's people who are assistants, right? And they can go into doing like executive assistants for a tech company or something like that, right? Or a director at a tech company. So just trying to take those skills, apply them to other industries that pay higher. And if that doesn't work, then you got to reskill yourself. You got to go retrain yourself, get the skills you need to get that higher income. And then you can also focus on trades as well. So don't sleep on the trades, you know, being an electrician, being a plumber, HVAC, stuff like that. Those all pay 6 figures. So that's really what you need to do. You just got to figure out what's going to work for you, something you feel like you can actually do and stick to, get that high income, start to save, pay off that debt, and start to invest. That's really it.
Yeah, I think you keep that. I noticed that you keep saying the skills, and this is extremely important, especially today, because we talked about, like me and Beez, we talked about how we feel like we're going in a time period, at least in this country, where pretty soon it's going to be there's not going to be a middle America where it's like a middle class. It's either going to be you financially independent or you at the bottom of the barrel like penny pinching to live. So it's like skills is everything. Like one thing about skills, if you got skills, you can always be able to get income. You'll always be able to get a job because you got the necessary skills to be useful. So that's super important. And it's like I said a million times, this is information that's applicable to everybody. Like you don't got to be no damn super talented. No, and if this is something that everybody could do and say, oh damn, let me go get these skills or these certs or any like, let's say let me ask you this, like let's say if you didn't go to college, like, but you still wanted to end up being where you are now, like going through the same route, like what would you do? How would you do that without going to college and getting a degree?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would have went to the military, honestly, because like back then, you know, I graduated high school in 2010. Back then, boot camps and stuff like that weren't that big. So I would have went to the military, probably did 4 or 6 years and converted to doing government contracting. Yeah, because my dad, he went to the military, but he did 20 years and then converted to a government contractor. So he was telling me like, you know, oh, you know, you're like 15 years ahead of me. I was this age when I was making the money that you were making. So by me just going straight, I went straight to college and then, you know, went straight to government contracting. I was able to skip that. But even if I went to the military, got a degree for free or just got the experience, because that's really what it is. Like the work that we do overseas is we work on these military systems. So if you're in the military and you worked overseas, I'm pretty sure you can easily get a job for a government contractor. So you know, as long as you're able to get that experience, do your 4 or 6 years, whatever you sign for, you can immediately go and be a government contractor. And don't let your secret clearance or top secret clearance expire. Just go and start working as a government contractor immediately.
And I like that you pointed that out about the military, because I mean everybody know you can get a free education, but like once you join the military, you could start school like immediately. Like within 6 months of being in and getting trained up, you can get out there, start getting in college. Like I'm on my master's degree, and by the time I'm done, I haven't paid a lick out of pocket. Like not 1 cent out of pocket. The military is paid for my entire degree. So that's something you should definitely do not sleep on, because by the time you're done with the military, you can have your college degree and go transition into that.
Yeah, and it's super easy.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too, like people sleep on different companies paying for your education too. Like you can work at Amazon and they pay for your college. You can work at Walmart, Target, they pay for your college, right? So you don't have to go and pay for college out of pocket. You know, you can easily figure out, all right, you know, what company is going to pay for my college out of pocket? Let them pay for it and then go from there, right? Or see what company is going to pay for your certs out of pocket, right? So I did internships with the government. I worked for the Air Force. I did an internship with them. I did an internship with Northrop Grumman. And all of these companies, they all pay for you to get certifications and for your college. Like even when I was an intern for the Air Force, they paid for a couple of my college courses. Just for being an intern, right? So people have to take advantage of these companies paying for these different skills for you. You don't have to pay out of pocket all the time.
And I think that just leads to the bigger topic of people really need to learn how to take advantage of the benefits that their employers offer.
Yep.
That's a really big thing. It's like, so, you know, so many people will work a job just waiting on a check, but not realizing like it's so many benefits and programs these employers offer that you could be taking advantage of to set yourself up.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely take a look at your educational assistance programs in your benefits handbook, right? I don't think anybody looks at those. Like, look at
Not
look
all.
at the educational assistant programs. Look and see what they're offering for your health programs. Because like even if you work out, they got fitness programs where they'll give you like $100 a month just for working out.
Right.
Like people don't even pay any attention to their employee handbook. So take the time, read through it, see what benefits you can get, and see how you can take advantage of those.
Like I know Tay, that's what Tay was telling me about his job. They give him like money per quarter to work out, so that's real. This episode is also sponsored by Masterworks. There's a new app billionaires use to invest in a new $1.7 trillion asset. It's one that 99% of investors have never heard of. A market whose volume has grown 2,700% and has historically outperformed the S&P 500 while having virtually zero correlations to equities. Spoiler, it's high-end art. This app lets you invest in fractional shares of art similar to a company stock. And art has been more than just something pretty to look at. For instance, a middle-class real estate developer flipped his Basquiat for 5,814% gross ROI. That turned $19,000 into a staggering $110,500,000. That's 407 times more than the S&P return, 581 times more than real estate return, and incalculably more than his savings account. But many top-tier paintings have price tags in the tens of hundreds of millions of dollars. Just imagine what building a diversified portfolio of them will cost. That amount of money can be tough to stomach, even for the richest on the earth. So Masterworks, the $1 billion fintech unicorn, came up with a solution. Why not just make them investable like a company stock? You simply buy shares in a multi-million-dollar paint, and when Masterworks sells it, they'll send your share of the profits. It's that easy. Early investors already got a 32% annualized return from a Banksy trade in 2020. Luckily, you don't need to be a billionaire to sign up. In fact, membership is free. Nationally, demand has been crazy. 230,000 members have signed up. Over $250 million have been invested with Masterworks, and the waitlist to join is growing day to day. Lucky for you, I'm friends with the Masterworks team, so they gave me a special link to skip to the front. Just go to masterworks.io/mindsets. That's masterworks.io/mindsets. See important disclosures at masterworks.io/disclaimer. And like as always, the link for that is in the description of this podcast episode. So if you want to start buying art and making money in the art industry, go to the link in this podcast description to start today. So let's now talk about post-retirement. Like, so what's next now? What's the move? I know you got a lot planned.
Yeah. I mean, mainly what's next is obviously continue to invest, right? I want to get into more real estate, looking at buying some storage unit facilities for sure, looking at buying some multifamily properties, and then really just continue just educating our community, right? So, just continue with my courses, continue pushing my book. I have a financial literacy book called Financial Starter Kit. So helping people understand that, basic financial literacy, because I think that's where a lot of people need to start at.
That's a fact.
And then also I have a group coaching program that I have helping people out as well. And I have a community as well, Success Life Society, where, if people are looking for a community somewhere that they can see different plays, see different things I'm investing in, and if they just want a community of people who are trying to increase their career income, invest, that's all we do. Like every day, all day, we're just talking about different investments and ways we can increase our income.
I want to ask you, as far as from where you started to where you are now, what has been the biggest shifts in mindset in terms of business or business work, either or investing and family?
I would say the biggest shift is like, I just felt like I needed to do it so fast. Like once you just stop thinking about the time frame and just focus on the process, like I swear, like I looked up and I didn't even realize like, oh wow, like I'm making this much money a month. I actually can retire this year. Like I don't really need to be here anymore, right? So I think the biggest mindset shift is just not focusing on the time and just focusing on the journey and sticking to my plan. Like when you do that, you really don't get like disappointed, because I see people do this all the time. they'll say, oh, I want to achieve this by this age, or I want to get this into this career within the next 12 months. And when they don't do that, they end up getting so disappointed that they just completely quit, right? So I think that's the biggest mindset shift I made. Like, I really don't focus on time frames anymore. I just stay consistent to the journey. Like, I don't really care how long it takes. Like, as long as I'm alive, like, I'm good. Like, it doesn't matter how long it takes.
That's a gem, though, because it's like, if you truly want something, like, why do it care when you get it?
Yeah, the time gonna pass anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
and that takes us back to something Bradley was saying. Yep. You need to lower your expectations?
No, lower your goals. Lower your goals to realistic things that you could accomplish, because that'll build your momentum and confidence, and then you'll move differently because you've been winning. So no, that's definitely. And what would be, let's say, the formula to retiring earlier? If you had like a 3-4 steps, matter of fact, you should drop like a book or something, a little thing on like retiring early. So like, what if it was like a formula? Like by steps, what would you say that formula is?
Yeah, I mean, I would say step number one, like I said, focus on increasing your income. A lot of people say, focus on saving money. I think you need to increase your income because you can only save so much if you're not making enough money,
Facts.
right? After that, you want to make sure that you're saving and paying down any consumer debt, because if you got a ton of credit card debt, then you really can't do much. That interest is going to kill you. And then after that, you want to focus on investing for passive income. And once you do that, continue to invest that income. Don't take that passive income and then just go like ball out. Take the passive income and just invest it more. So continue to reinvest. And I'm telling you, like, by the time you look up, you'll realize like, oh shoot, like the money that's coming in is the same amount that I'm making from my job or more. So to me, that's the key. That's my formula.
Damn, that's. Do you have any other questions before we wrap up? I know you do.
You put me on the spot.
What about you, Beez? You have something else that you want to touch on real quick before we wrap up?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think I covered everything. Honestly, I think I covered everything. I think that. Yeah, I think I covered it all.
That's definitely. And this the final question I like to ask people is, in your opinion, from your perspective, what is wealth to you?
To me, I think wealth is freedom, and then having your investments pay for all your living expenses, right? Like, because if your living expenses are covered, technically you don't need to work, right? You don't need to work because most people work just to cover their expenses. Yep. So if you have your investments covering those expenses, you're pretty much free, right? Yep. So once you get over that hump of like, all right, my expenses are covered, now let me get that extra money coming in so I can live however I want.
That's facts, because I remember when I got out the military, I tweeted something saying like how I'll never have to work again. It was because
y'all invested.
It could cover my expenses.
Yep.
So it was like if I didn't want to work, I didn't have to.
Right.
Not to say it would be the smartest thing to do, because you still want to make some bread. But if I didn't want to, I don't have to. So yeah, that's some game right there. But before we let you go, I want to say, you already know how much D and I appreciate you. We chop it up all the time. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time to come up here and mess with us, come back on the show. We know you're going to have to do this again, because it's a long time from the first one to this one. So you're going to have to make sure we get the next one done. Secondly is, do you mind then plugging all your stuff where people can find you, buy your book, buy your course, join SLS, everything, YouTube, that's on the way. So, so much, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's capital_SB. Instagram is capital.SB, and don't fall for any of the scammers.
Man.
And then as long as you make it to my Twitter and stuff, you can click the links in my bio and you'll be able to find all of my courses. So if you don't want to go there, you can just go to links.capitalsb.com and you'll see everything about me there. But yeah, that's pretty much for me.
And me, as usual, I'm at Xavier C. Miller on all platforms. Follow the podcast, Man of Mindsets, on all platforms as well. YouTube as well. And D, what's your info?
You can find me on Instagram at Deanna Kent, Twitter, Deanna S. Kent. Make sure you cop the Crypto Guide, the Real Estate Guide. They're on sale for the rest of the year. And follow me on YouTube at Lessons in Life and Luxury.
And that's all we got for y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning into another episode of the Millionaire Mindsets podcast. See you guys next episode.
Peace.
Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.